Rachel, speaking of going on ad nauseum, um, just walk right into that. Anyway, a couple of months ago, I was watching Channel 9 local news, and they did a special on Stop the Violence. And I thought it was one of the most creative and interesting things I've ever watched on a special moment like that. I emailed the group. Quentin took the bait. He is the founder and the executive director of Stop the Violence. He's a Douglas High School grad, Langston 2008 grad, and this is his maiden voyage on speaking to a group. So Quentin, come on up. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. You just had press the button, right? Okay. Once again, my name is Quentin Rucker. I am the executive director and founder of Stop the Violence here in the state of Oklahoma. I wanted to go over some things with you. Damn. Oh, I'm empowered now. So everybody should have a brochure. Our contact information is on the back. You can scan it if you want to. Stop the Violence is an organization that started in 2010, a couple of days after Mother's Day. So what I want you guys to do is think about somebody you really love, that you really care for, right? Think of that person's name. On the count of three, I want you to just blurt out the name for me. 1, 2, 3. So think about this story I'm about to get ready to tell you guys. I had a little cousin on Mother's Day, was driving home, driving his little sister and brother, which was in high school and elementary. They saw some people fighting. Two little girls was fighting in the middle of the street. So he got out the car, broke up the fight. As he was walking back, a guy shot him in the back for breaking up the fight. So he passed away right there on the street. And so what I wanted to do, I was like, I don't want to stand outside with a sign that say, stop the violence, right? I was like, how can we engage these youth, these kids, right? And tell them that the things that they do today impact their tomorrow. And so that's how Stop the Violence was started. It was started from just an idea, just from a group of people just getting together like, hey, we got to end this violence, you know, gun violence. That's where it started from, guns. But then as we started talking to a lot of the kids, it started moving on to bullying, suicide, like just a host of different topics, from dating violence. And so we started out with about 15 kids in our program. And so to this date, we're about anywhere from 250 to 300 kids at each program that we have each day. And one of the things that we did when we first started off was we said, look, the kids are coming in here hungry. Okay, let's give them some food. So we bought them food. We started looking at social media, Facebook. Even now to this day, everybody's on TikTok making up these dances, right? Singing. And so we was like, how can we get kids to come in where we can talk about leadership, stopping the violence, giving them all the tools that they need to succeed. And so we came up with this idea of putting together a dance and a singing camp just to get them in. Once they in, guess what? Now I'm gonna give you the vegetables. The vegetables for us is teaching you how to be proactive against violence. We're going to talk about bullying that's going on in the schools, any type of school violence. If you see something, we always tell people to say something, right? And so that's where Stop the Violence started. We're here pretty much any emotional scars in children that we see, we want to be able to be there for them. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the kids' homes that we just want to be there to help guide them make the right decisions as they're growing up. So some of our programs that's listed above is our leadership programs that I talked about. We kind of put this in each one of our programs. We're going to find a way to give them the knowledge. Our community giveaway, which is our brand new program that we just now initiated. We saw that with COVID, a lot of people was losing jobs, couldn't work. And so we was like, okay, hey, how can we get people food? How can we get them home supplies and different things like that? So that's where this program came up. Our arts camps, that's what Chris was just telling you about, where the news came out. The Young Entrepreneurs is another new program where we teach kids at a young age, starting at age 8, how to be entrepreneurs. We feel like if you start them early, guess what? They're going to go to their next level. And the kids, man, they took it and took off. It was a great experience. Violence prevention, that's pretty much everything that we do. Stop the Bullying is also a new school program that we're doing across the state of Oklahoma, where we go into different schools and we talk about different types of bullying that's going on, whether it's social media, texting, physical. So there's a tons of different things that the kids are just learning, because sometimes kids are saying, hey, I'm just a kid. I didn't think there was no harm until somebody get hurt. So our 3 main impact, which we pretty much just talked about, which is the violence prevention, the community giveaways, and our leadership camps. Did you know that youth violence was the 4th leading cause of death in the United States? That's been huge when we come from conferences and things we kind of talk about and really kind of just dive in these different areas where the kids are needed. Of course, our main concern is if the kids are going through something here, we're going to tailor it to them here. You know, we know different states have different things going on, but that was a huge number for me, because I didn't even know that at first until I went to the conference and we kind of talked about a lot of different things that's going on. So I want to open it up for questions about Stop the Violence.
Sure. Tell me more about Stop the Violence, the bigger picture.
Okay. So Stop the Violence is, for us, is just here in the state of Oklahoma. So it's not national or anything. It's just something like I told you earlier, we just had an idea and saw a need and just went from there. And we have a lot of great volunteers and board members that just come in and pour.
So you model this? I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the microphone. Is this modeled after another organization somewhere else, or is this strictly your idea?
Yes, strictly my idea.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
We need you here too. Will you come to Stillwater and visit?
Oh yeah, we love traveling.
Come on.
I see on the front of your pamphlet, I see a looks like a Oklahoma City police officer hugging a young child.
Yes.
Could you explain to us kind of what is the specific partnership that you guys have with law enforcement? How is law enforcement integrated into the program?
So as you know, there has been a lot of different police reports that come out where, you know, some people don't feel comfortable. And for us, we work with a lot of police officers, and I think in any organization, there's good and bad people. And so we want people to be comfortable talking to a host of people. So we have different officers come out, whether it's the sheriff's department, and they have a bond. They get to know these people hand and feet. We also work with the Oklahoma City FACT program too, which is a community awareness group that goes out into the community, which I always tell them, like, I need more press, because this is the stuff that everybody needs to see, that you guys are really out in the community, like working with these kids. So we've done stuff in different cities like that around Oklahoma as well, where we work together. So that's the biggest thing. They get to know everybody and they feel comfortable, like, oh, okay, I can talk to them. It's not all scary like, you know, some people think. So that's the biggest thing, just making those connections in the community.
I like it.
Thanks.
I have a quick one while the microphone gets back there. So I have a lot of trouble with my own kids, making them understand consequences of their actions. And there's been a lot of research that's done. Their frontal lobe isn't developed enough until they're like 22, right, to really fully understand consequences. And a lot of the things you're talking about, like if I do this, it's going to result in this. Kids can't theoretically fully understand. So have you had any success stories where the kids have expressed understanding about the message you're trying to teach? And what's your favorite success story?
So a lot of stories that we hear different things from the parents, you know, where they're acting up in the house, they're not doing chores, they barely go to school. And so we take the approach of, you know, really just getting to understand and say, hey, what's going on? We know when puberty hits, then they can be going through changes too. So our biggest thing for us is hearing, you know, parents say, hey, you know, now my child is doing, they're taking out the trash without saying anything. The grades is going up. We've had some that come in and say, hey, my friend we were walking down the street and he tried to give me a gun. One of the parents told me that when they did this, 5 seconds later, the police came and they caught the kid with the gun on him because something, I guess they just did something. And so if the child would have taken that gun, then, that would have put them in a bad situation. So hearing those success stories for us are major. Like our first kid, when we first started this, her dream was to be a doctor. She wanted to be a dentist, right? And so she's a dentist. And so to see those dreams and everything just come to life, like it is so great for us. So just having that mentorship, that's huge. Sometimes we know that when I was growing up, I don't always listen to my parents. And then my favorite thing was saying, oh, he told me this. And then my parent would always say, well, I just told you that yesterday. Right. So sometimes just hearing it from somebody else, just giving them that. I come from a single parent household, and I always told myself, right, like, I won't let that hinder me. I'm going to be great. And so we just try to empower them, because sometimes people just be like, oh, maybe I wasn't a good child. I wasn't good enough. And so we just keep telling them, man, positivity. It kind of changes everything. What you say to your child really impacts who they are. If you keep telling them they're done, that's what's going to happen. If they eat it up, they're going to be done. That's why we start with the kids. They are the roots of our community. Sometimes us as adults are set in our ways already where we won't listen, but the kids, you can kind of change and help mold them. Even as they're making mistakes, we tell them, we want you to hear our voice in your head. Mr. Rucker said that, or, Chief Basie said this. So
does your organization, is it predominantly involved with inner city kids like Oklahoma City and Tulsa, or do you have an outreach to rural areas, southeastern Oklahoma, whatever? There's how far do you go, and do you see, is it more prevalent, obviously just because of the population of the inner city rather than rural areas?
So we are open to traveling. We have traveled to a host of different areas here in Oklahoma as we're needed and called upon. We're always looking for new areas to go into, especially with the community giveaway. We started that in Oklahoma City, but we've been going out to different towns and stuff, just pouring into everybody. Even with our violence prevention programs, we haven't been to Tulsa. Tulsa is one we have not been to yet. So we've been to Moore and Lawton, Muskogee, different areas like that. So we're definitely open.
So it's basically those communities coming to you and asking for help rather than you searching out to the areas, because
we always kind of push out information and everything. Sometimes with us, it's always a network as you're getting to meet more teachers or people that are trying to be impactful in their community. We kind of connect the dots and move along there.
Thank you.
Okay. Is your program basically an after-school program? Are you in the schools, actually in the schools themselves?
So a little bit of both. So our Stop the Violence, our bullying program is inside the schools. Everything else is catered outside, especially like our arts programs are catered when there is no school. So during the summer, spring break. So we do a host of different things like, we take the kids to river sport, right? Just to get them out there, especially during COVID. We were trying to figure out ways like we got to do something. I know we can't just be all in a building packed up, but yeah.
And do you work with churches much in your communities? Are you able to get into churches and help there too?
Yep, we are definitely open to working with churches.
Well, that was part of what my question was. How are your kids selected to come into the program? Is there a feeder group that sends them to you, or how does that work?
So our program really has been word of mouth. I mean, like when we started with the 15, it turned into 75. And so the word just gets out. We'll post on our social media. What was your last question?
How do you get the kids?
Oh, okay. So it's open for any and everybody. We do not have a limit on how many kids come in. Sometimes bite myself in the foot when I'm like, okay, hold up, we got to feed this many kids. So when the numbers started going up, it was like, okay, hey, how do I find the resources right to make sure that we can still provide this need to the kids? And so a lot of prayer, I'll tell you that. A lot of prayer. No, we're open to everybody. We don't care if they're doing good, they're doing bad. Like, it's open for anybody because violence can happen in any neighborhood. So it doesn't matter.
Are
So
you
we get them from
working?
everywhere.
Are you working with the schools and maybe getting referrals from counselors, giving counselors your information? So if they see kids in need or they see parents struggling, that the counselors and schools can refer
Yes.
them to your program? Are you
Yep.
partnering with the schools to do that with counselors?
Yes. Yep. So we can help with anything from, if we find out some of the parents need food, more food in the house, clothes, toys, like whatever. If it's something that we can help out with, we are there.
Are you taking dance team auditions? Because I'm looking for a positive outlet for Chris.
You know what? We already had that conversation. And he actually said, hey, I want to be the next instructor too. So we're ready.
I
But
feel
he said,
so good about that class.
he did tell me that you were going to be the assistant.
Oh, no. I'm the director.
Oh, okay.
I have so much skill with choreography, you don't even understand. You guys haven't even broached that yet. Just wait.
Hey, we just tell the kids just how a lot of them be like, I don't know how to dance. Like, it don't matter. Just have fun. The first day, everybody's nervous, right? But they're getting to meet new people and being around positive people. I think that's the biggest change for them. So
Talk about that, because that's how I saw you on TV and kind of how that week went and what y'all did. It was the dance and all that stuff.
Yep. So we started out with the, of course, introductions. We always have our icebreaker to try to get everybody like, okay, come on, get them jitters out, right? But we break up the classes. Excuse me. We break up all of our classes by age. We start for the camps. We start at age 5 and up. So they start very early on. Just learning everything. So throughout the camp, they learn different areas of dance, whether it's jazz, modern, ballet, hip hop. So they learn these different aspects. Of course, we had a choir as well. So they learned some good gospel songs this year, which was really needed. Just me listening to those words, I was like, hey, bless me, Lord. I was like, okay. I needed
My
that
son knows
day.
that when he plays that all the time.
Yeah,
That's
so
such
I
a good-
needed that message that day. I was like, you know what, this is awesome, So just to see the program grow. After that, we have different people come in and speak to the kids as well. So any kids that we feel like, if the instructors feel like, hey, they're causing issues in the class, they're acting out, we always tell them, hey, if you mess up one time, you're kicked out. It's really not true. What we do is we send them to our board member, Chief Basie, and he talks to him. If he needs me, I'll go into, and then we figure out like what's really going on. And most of the time it's just, like I said, something at the house. Maybe it's something that they don't have. If we see some of the kids with like messed up clothes or like, okay, we sort of notice this. So, and we'll talk to the parent and say, hey, do you mind if we, give you guys, clothes, shoes, food. We always make a lot of different food for them to take home to the parents. Sometimes they have little brothers and sisters that's in the house that didn't come to the camp. So we make sure that they're taken care of. So that's how the camp runs.
So I'm curious, tell me about your own background. How did you get into this? Where did you come from?
So Oklahoma City, born and raised on the east side. Like I said earlier, single parent household, didn't have a lot. Went to college, was a huge band geek. Shout out to all my band people in here, especially Chris. But I always had a heart of giving. And, when that happened, I was like, look, I don't want to do it just that one day. I want to be able to just continue to do this. And as the program grew, as we saw the need, it just kind of motivated everybody to just keep going. Sometimes, especially when we first started, it was like, dang, how are we going to afford this? Even our venue now, like we don't have space to even host any of the events there because we outgrew it. So that's one of our initiatives that we're coming up with is to, collecting funding for that. Even with our community giveaway, one of the things we ran into was the box trucks. I didn't know how hard it was to get a box trucks now because everybody has them rented out. So just those different deals. And as we get anything like that comes, we just keep going. That's our biggest thing. Like it always works out.
One more question.
I'll keep going.
Tell us about your funding. Are you full-time at this, and how do you get your funding?
So I am full-time. Most of everything is done by the community. We have different partnerships with Microsoft, with Amazon to help with like the food and the giveaways that we do. As far as in for camps, most of everything that we do there is done through the community or out my pocket. So I just, like I say, I love what I'm doing. I love seeing the kids grow and the changes that they have evolved to.
Does that QR code lead us to a place where we can donate?
That will lead you to his site. Nah, yes.
Is that your dance video? I knew it.
Yes, that has our contact information. You guys can save it. It has everything from website, social media, if you want to donate to. So it has everything on there.
Anybody else have any questions? We can clap though.
Hey, thank you, Chris. Thanks everybody once again for having